guys, welcome back to my channel. If you've watched a few of my videos already before, then thank you for returning. If you've subscribed, I appreciate you so much. I know it's a cliche to say, but girl, I am. And if you're any boys listening, then boy, I'm also very grateful for you too. Anyway, so today is going to be a really short video. It's basically about being mindful of what you say. So Jesus was always very wise with his words. He never just spoke needlessly. He never spoke foolishly. He was always very wise in what he said. He always really took thought and time to think about what it was that he was going to say or his response. So I'm about to read the scripture that gives an example of that, because sometimes we talk too much. I am a good example of that. I don't think I chat rubbish, but I do talk a lot, right? Some people, they can talk a lot. Some people, like my sister, she's quiet. So, you know, not everybody's the same. But if you are a person that talks a lot, we do have to be wise with when we speak, right? Sometimes you reveal too much about yourself. Sometimes you reveal too much about someone else. Sometimes you're too quick to respond to a question without giving it thought, you know, because you don't know other people's intention for questioning you about certain things. Just in general, I know this is kind of vague, but just being wise with your words in general should apply to everybody, right? Because in general, you shouldn't speak foolishly, needlessly, or whatever else not, right? And Jesus was definitely really good at that. So I'm going to read just a really quick scripture about this because I just felt like I wanted to. Anyway, so it said, all right, Jesus' authority was questioned. This is from the book of Matthew, chapter 21, chapter 21, verse 23, right? So, now, when he came into the temple, talking about Jesus, the chief priests and the elders of the people confronted him as he was teaching and said, "By what authority are you doing these things? And who gave you this authority?" But Jesus answered and said to them, "I will ask you one thing, which if you tell me, I will likewise tell you by which authority I do these things." So then he proceeds to then ask, "The baptism of John, where was it from? From heaven or from men?" And the Pharisees reasoned among themselves, saying, "If we say from heaven, he will say to us, why then did you not believe him?" Because at this point, I believe John the Baptist was beheaded, right? So you've killed him now. So if you're now going to say he's from heaven, then, you know, or his authority was from heaven, why did you kill him? But if we say from men, we fear the multitude for the people, for all count John as a prophet. So they answered Jesus and said, "We do not know." And so Jesus then said to them, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things," right? Now, Jesus was very smart there because they were also trying to trap him with that question. It wasn't a genuine question. They were trying to trick him into answering, right? Because either way, had he answered, it would have been a trip up, right? They said to him, to Jesus, "What authority do you do these things?" Had he said God, right, they would have said blasphemy. If he had said man, then they would have said, "See, look, you're out here lying, deceiving people." So he wouldn't have won either way, and he knew that, which is why he then tried to do them the same way. Okay, you answer my question. And they too was in the same predicament. If they said heaven, people would be mad, like, "So why did you kill him?" And if they said man, people would be mad because, you know, it's not of man, because he's clearly a prophet, right? And that right there was really smart. Right, he could have just said, "No, I don't want to answer your question. You're just trying to trip me up." And obviously it would have looked like you got something to hide. So you have to respond. You know, there's some times where, you know, they say you shouldn't respond to everything. But sometimes when you don't respond, it looks like you either don't know what you're talking about, or it makes you look shady, like you got something to hide. You know, sometimes not responding is not always a good thing. So sometimes there's a need to respond, but you have to respond wisely. And in this case, had Jesus not responded, it would have looked rude, it would have looked dodgy. Like, if you are confident of the authority, you know, that has given you what you've got, then why do you ignore us? Why are you not answering the question? Do you have something to hide? Is it not of God like how you say that it is? Do you know what I mean? So he had to answer, but his answer covered himself. And he's like, all right, I'll tell you if you tell me. And they couldn't tell him, which allowed him to not tell them. And he knew they wasn't going to tell him because he's not stupid. He knew that they too couldn't answer, because just like I said, had they said John had got the authority from God, he knew that now they put themselves in a pickle by killing him and admitting that his authority was God. And he also knew, had they said it was from man, people would get upset, right? Because John the Baptist had many followers. So he was very smart. And what I appreciated that is the fact that, one, I feel like Jesus was witty because he was quick with his answers. I don't think he was there like, okay, I'll answer. For me personally, I genuinely believe he came back at them quickly. Okay, cool, I'll tell you if you tell me this. Like, so I feel like he had a habit of speaking wisely, you know. And I do believe that it's all about habit, right? I mean, obviously Jesus was a gift from God, so that's a whole nother advantage that he had, right? But we can obviously be inspired by him and take lessons from him. There are loads of people out there, whether your friend or your family, that sometimes we have people that are just waiting for us to trip up. Sometimes you have these fake friends asking you questions because they want to secretly have you embarrass yourself by your answer. Like, let's just say you have a partner, a boyfriend that everyone knew about and it didn't work out, and they know it didn't work out, but they want you to say it to make it look like you can't keep a man or something. You know, little stupidness like that. Oh, so how's you and your partner? Oh, so what, are you still together? You know that they're just asking you in front of other people to make it look like, oh, it didn't work out. You know, sometimes people do ask us trick questions like that. And it's for us to respond wisely, to not give them the satisfaction of shaming us or trying to make us look bad, which Jesus never gave the Pharisees satisfaction in trying to shame him, because they never could, because he always responded in such a smart manner. Do you know what I mean? So I think practicing to take time before we speak encourages us to give better answers, better responses, right? And when you do that out of habit, I believe that speaking wisely will just, or speaking what's the word? I don't know the word, right? But just speaking in a way that benefits you and how you represent yourself will be a lot easier out of habit, right? So I would encourage everyone to just take their time in responding to people. Really think about your response. It's like playing chess. You know, you have to think before you make your move. Don't just make your move, because then you lose. I mean, some people may feel like, oh, come on now, it's not that deep, it's just a question. I hear that. I'm not saying any question. If someone's like, what's your favourite colour? Really think deep about what you need to say. No. But there are some times that you know people are asking you certain questions to shame you. Just like Jesus knew the Pharisees were asking him this question to trip him up. It's not like he didn't know. He knew the purpose of their question, which is why he responded in that manner. So, and I know that some of us know when somebody asks us questions or they make certain statements, it is to shame us, right? And when you're in that situation, think wisely, don't just respond, you know? Because sometimes we can't be bothered, we'll just answer it like, yes, we broke up, yeah, we didn't go out, like you broke up with me. Like, no, don't give them that satisfaction of making you look like you can't keep a man or keep a woman. I know that's the example I'm giving. It's just the easiest one that I can think of. You know, it could be anything. Oh, did you finish your course? Knowing very well that you got kicked off the course, or you flunked out, or you stopped going because you found it too hard. But they just want to shame you to make you look bad. Do you know what I mean? Whatever it is, think wisely about your response. You know what I mean? So I personally really like Jesus' response. I always find it very clever. Like, again, I spoke in the previous video when the town brought the woman who had slept with the man and she was outside of marriage, I believe it was. And they're like, yeah, Stoner, what do you say to this? And again, he knew they were trying to trip him up. He knew that because they know that he's a man of peace and love and whatever, right? He's not going to be so quick to be like, yeah, Stoner. So he can't say, no, don't do that, because what about the other guy? Because men and women were held on a different level back in the day, right? So to even just dismiss the woman and go to the man, that, but what about the man? I don't think that would have gone down lightly. So again, he was smart with what he said. He's like, all right, cool. You can stone her. Feel free to stone her. But the person who stoned her, you must not have done anything wrong in your life. You must be perfect, which is why you must stone her imperfection. If you are perfect, feel free to stone her. So he wasn't saying that she can't be stoned. He was just giving the standards by whom she can be stoned by. Do you know what I mean? And that in itself, again, was very clever because nobody could say anything. Because if you know you're not perfect, then how are you dragging this woman out like this, right? So, yeah, that's the end of this video. What's that, 10 minutes? It was still longer than I had expected, but whatever. Yeah, just be wise in your response when you speak. Really take time to think about what you're going to say. I feel like it will definitely benefit a lot of us in the long run if you develop such a good habit, just as Jesus did. So, yeah, if you found this video helpful or you liked it, give me a thumbs up, please. Subscribe, leave any comments below. Maybe if you've got experiences of anyone who has tried to ask you a question to try to shame you up and you had a good response, write that down in the comment section. I would like to read it because that would actually be really cool. So, or maybe if there's a time where someone tried to shame you up and you didn't know what to say and how that went, again, we can all learn from that, you know, because people forever will always be out there trying to bring us down. Not everybody, it's not like woe is me, you know what I mean, I'm a victim, but there will always be people that just don't like you, you know what I mean? Whether it's once in your life or a couple times in your life, some people may try to not make you look good. And it's always good to be prepared and respond in a righteous, correct and wise manner. So yes, again, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, then just click off. I prefer that then you giving me a thumbs down. But if you must insist on giving me a thumbs down, then go ahead. But otherwise, yes, thank you for watching and have a good day, good evening, good morning and whatever else not. Bye.